home. Made it. What a ride. Just crazy. I will never do this again.
I've been always, you've been always my sweet home. I've been always, you've been always my sweet home.
Hi guys, hope you're doing well. We are out doing errands today. The hubby is in, not that store, but he's in the vacuum store back there. I don't know. He's getting vacuum stuff. That's how good a housekeeper I am that I don't know. But anyway, we're getting everything done today because tomorrow is my surgery. Having a discectomy and fusion. And there's the hubby. He just got in, so we're getting everything done today. Just had a wonderful pedicure. Got my eyebrows done, so they're all right up there. But that's it. Getting everything done and prepared, right?
Yes.
For your big,
your big day.
my big day, but your big caregiver week.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Exactly. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
But we'll see. Everybody is talking about the recovery and how painful it is when you come out. So I'm getting a little nervous now, which I wasn't. But they're going to remove 2 discs, do a fusion, plate, titanium plate, and screws. And we'll see. I'm hoping nothing triggers the CRPS to get any worse, which is what they talk about. So I have to make sure that I inform them not to do anything with the right hand, because any kind of sticking or poking on that hand can definitely spread or flare the CRPS. And we'll see what happens. So this tomorrow when I'm in the hospital, I'm staying over, obviously. And did you notice? I cut my hair and straightened it. Got all pretty. Even got my eyebrows done, if you could say. Just to make it easier with the neck collar. So we'll see what happens, and I will try and film if I can tomorrow in the hospital. Don't know how that's going to turn out, if I'll be able to, but I will update you as soon as I can and let you know how the surgery went, and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully nothing flares or triggers or spreads. And that's it. So take care, guys, and I will see you on the other side. Have a good night. Hi guys, so this is me at home now, finally. I don't know when I really last updated you. I had the surgery. They removed a couple of discs and did a fusion, put the plate screws. Pardon how I talk, but one of the side effects of the surgery is the airway. You have a lot of swelling, and I had a very difficult airway, I guess, so it's more swollen than normal after surgery. So I'm still on soft foods, and which means like a cup of, what did I have? I had a little bit of yogurt, half yogurt, and a chocolate pudding. And so I'm just here in my hospital grade bed next to the real bed, which I won't see for a while, a couple months probably. But it's a really nice chair, so I'm really grateful for that. It's really nice. Hopefully I'll get out of this soon, then we can move it into the living room, because it's really, really nice. So I hope you can hear me okay. And then here is my trusty hospital side table. We've got the, I'm sure most of you know, the breathing thing. That's what you need to do to, you have to do it 10 times an hour, every hour that you're awake, because it's supposed to keep your lungs inflated and prevent pneumonia and that kind of thing. So I'm doing that, and then I have my basket full of my meds that I have to take. I have them all in their normal individual cases, but also there's like a whole bunch more that I'm on now. But believe it or not, I am not on any narcotic pain medication because I have an allergy to Vicodin. So the hospital called in before I was released oxycodone, but the pharmacist, when my husband went there, the pharmacist told him that it crosses somehow with Vicodin. So she said she didn't really feel comfortable, and that we should talk to the doctor first for me what we wanted to do. So we opted out of that, and the doctor called in Percocet, which they said actually was pretty much in the same family as well. It was just one has Tylenol in it, one doesn't. So I don't know, it called me crazy. So I am not on any pain medication. I have a muscle relaxer though, but I don't know. I've never taken them before. I took one last night though because it was my first night home, and come on kitty. It was my first night home, and literally I know now what everybody's talking about. You sleep for an hour, then you're up for 3 hours, you sleep for an hour, then you're up for 3 hours. So that's pretty much what was going on. I'm fighting with the cat right now. And that's the story. So I will try and update you at a better moment. Okay, bye guys. So hi guys. It's been a while since I have vlogged. Sorry about that. I am home. I had the cervical discectomy, C5 through 7 with fusion. They put cadaver bone and some of my bone and a plate and screws. And you have to pardon me, one of the after effects is the throat's really, really sore, and it can only eat soft foods. So I figured I would update you at least to where I am now. So the procedure, the process, and the first couple of days. Okay, so got to the hospital. They got me in early actually, which was good because I kind of wanted to get it over with. And they prepped me, fit me for the collar ahead of time. And then they pulled up my films, wheeled me into the operating room. They explained everything to me. They told me when I woke up that I would feel very, very bad pain in my throat because I'd be intubated for about 2.5 hours. And they kind of push everything in your throat to the side, like your windpipe, your food pipe, whatever, so that they're able to intubate correctly, and they're able to also push it aside while they go in through under here. I will show you. Now I'm supposed to do this so I can show you. This is what bandaging looks like. Top band, this bandage right here goes all the way down. That's the cervical area, and then this across whitish one, I'll get this back on because it hurts. The one across, the smaller one, is to cover the drain, which I'll tell you about what that means. So they did what they had to do. I woke up very sick. Afterwards, I remember them coming in, like 2 days later. I remember the discussion of what happened, but I'll tell you about it. They went in, they found that the discs were worse than they thought. Everything was really, really crushed. They said one was very loose and wobbly, and basically the discs that were in there that they were going to remove, they said were so wobbly, even though they were pushing, that's the cat, even though they were pushing into the spine, into the spinal cord, they were so wobbly that one, like, God forbid, bad car accident or whiplash would have done a lot of damage, because they would have come apart. They would have come, I guess, apart from what was holding them together, whatever matter. So they removed that. They had a very hard time intubating because of a very poor airway. So there was a lot of damage in what they call osteophytes, which are like kind of bone spurs, I believe. I googled it, but going up and down my windpipe. So they had a really hard time intubating, which is why the pain is really bad in the throat. But that's also more I will find out in 2 weeks when I go for the results of my endoscopy and colonoscopy. So they went in, they took them out right away. They used cadaver bone, some of my bone from somewhere, I'm not quite sure. Replaced the discs, used a titanium plate and screws, and what they call a cage procedure, which I believe is like a mesh to hold it in place. And that's pretty much what they did. They inserted a drain right underneath it to drain the blood and fluids. So when I woke, I had a tube coming out from about here, long, and it connected to a plastic bag, which was really not pleasant to look at, but it drained the blood, and they would replace, take out the blood and replace that. So the first 2 days were a nightmare. I will not lie. I had never been under general anesthesia before. I had been under twilight for shoulder surgeries on both sides, for my thumb surgery. Look at that. I woke up with bruises all over my body, but how do I have this bruise on my hand? How do you bruise a hand in surgery? That's what I would like to know. I'm really very curious. I have to ask him about that. But I was very sick for 2 days. I threw up a lot in the hospital, and we think that was from being under general anesthesia. So they were really good with the Zofran, which helped for a little bit. But the first 2 days were really, really hard. I have never experienced anything like this before in my life, which is why I didn't vlog in the hospital. I just absolutely couldn't. I couldn't keep any food down, so I hadn't eaten in like 3 days. They were very limited as far as helping the pain because I am allergic to Vicodin, and everything that they were pulling up as an idea crossed or red flagged in the computer as having some ingredients similar. So couldn't do oxycodone or oxycodone. Couldn't do much really of any of that. I think basically I had IV Tylenol, and I did muscle relaxer, and I just had to deal with it pretty much as is. By day 2, I was a wreck. I was shaking, and it looked like almost seizuring. And it took a while before finally my husband and I were talking. They hadn't been giving the
the gabapentin I take for the CRPS in my hand, and because I'm on such a high dose of gabapentin a day, probably I started to go into withdrawal because I was just full on shakes, very sick, and hot flashes, etc. Once they were brought up to date on that, my husband took care of that. They started to give that to me, and it started to calm down. So by the third day, they removed the drain, which wasn't as bad as I really thought it was. You're awake for it. They don't do anything special. They basically just tell you to take a deep breath and swallow, and it's not in your throat, but you breathe deeply and they pull it out. I didn't look because I get too queasy for that. And that was that. And the surgeon came in, he talked to me, and this collar I have to wear, I cannot take off. It's 24 hours a day for the next 2 months at least, to keep my spine straight and, to prevent any quick movements, which is fine. And that's what I need to do. I am doing well, better. The first 2 days home were also hard. I was happy to be home. I'm actually in, I don't know if you can see it. Sorry about that, lost the camera. Not too steady, so I don't even know where I left off. But anyways, the first 2 days were a little hard being home because when you cough, it causes great pain. So you really try not to cough, but you can't help it. If you're going to cough, you're going to cough. And the worst thing to expect is a sneeze, because sneezing is not your friend, and it causes all of the muscles that you use to just wham you. So not fun, but that's the story. And I think I showed you, but I don't know if you caught it on tape before. I'm not sure if you got it. My side table with my drinks and my medicine basket and my breathing apparatus, which I have to do 10 times an hour for I don't even know how long. But anyway, this is getting quite long, I'm sure. So I'm going to end it here. I think what I'm going to do is update you each day. My nurse came yesterday, and today my physical therapist is coming to start helping me with the walker, get around the house, get my legs a little exercised, which would be great. And I will let you know how that goes in a separate video. Okay, so if you like, hit thumbs up. Oh, if you can find me, hit thumbs up, and please subscribe. This way you can get updates and follow as to the rest of the journey with the recovery from this. And then as well, in 2 weeks we will find out more information from the GI about my stomach, and if I have gastroparesis, and the esophagitis, and what we're going to do about that. And they, remove some polyps everywhere and biopsied a bunch of places, so we can incorporate that into the video. Okay, so for now, I'm going to say ciao. Please subscribe, and ask me anything if you want to know, or you're having the surgery or considering it. Feel free to leave a comment. I will for sure do the best I can to answer and show you what's going on. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Feel well, and I will talk to you soon.